So the voice was recurring. When I heard the idea go to Toronto, it didn't just come through once. In fact, it barely registered probably the first time that it came through. In fact, I probably never even paid attention to it maybe prior to that, right? Because at some point it had to come through to my conscious mind. And I do recall that when my impression of it was like, that's really out of the blue. And it's so far removed from anything I was even thinking of. It's not like I just had a recent conversation about Toronto or had, would have Toronto on my mind in any way, shape, or form. So the first impression I had was that's really out of the blue. And a second impression I had was like, I don't want to go to Toronto. I have no particular draw to go there or reason to go there. So I'm living in Vancouver, BC at the time. And this is point one I want to make about the month before the train where I, had the idea go to Toronto, and then I physically went on the Toronto. Like, what happened in that month that went from idea to actual action and follow through, right? It was a recurring idea. It was like a recurring nudge. And yeah, there was a very specific phrase that I was using at the time. It's like this niggling factor at the back of my mind that just kind of would not really go away or leave me alone. And I couldn't really explain it because I would just be, doing just stuff like daily life or whatever. And it was just be this idea at the back of my mind. And a lot of times I was almost like, not like shooing it away, but it was almost like being in a lull between like a dreamlike state and like conscious wake and being consciously awake. And at the time I was actually enrolled in a life coaching program at a private college. So I was like on some floor in like this building in downtown Vancouver. And there was like this row of windows that I would often just look out like towards the sky or whatever. So a lot of times I wasn't really, this is like what was going on in my mind. I wasn't, there would just be random thoughts, random thoughts just kind of pass through your mind at any given time. But for some reason, this thought, go to Toronto, there was like this sticky feeling about it where it would be recurring. And whether I was registering or not, it's like I was well aware of this voice. And there's something when I get to my 10th point, because I'm going to do 10 specific points about this month before the train, there's going to be something that kind of ties it all together. Like it comes full circle at some point, because this voice that tells me go to Toronto, there is something about it that actually makes me stop and actually makes me pay attention a little more maybe than I might have otherwise. But it's also a key point that I wanted to make. If there's a recurring voice, if there's something that kind of is trying to get through to you repeatedly, there may be something there. There may be a nudge or something to pay attention to. So this is point one, and I'll see you in point number 2.